That's me. This recipe comes to us from the great tradition of Shanghai street food. On pretty much every major street and at population centres all around the city, you see hundreds of these people cooking outdoors on the street, and it's really something very special. Those who are interested can read more about this subject of Chinese street food in my book. This particular version of the recipe comes to us from this guy, whose name I don't know unfortunately, but he made this dish for me in Shanghai thousands of times, and here's him doing it. I'm going to go through what we need, starting with, ideally you'd have a wok, one of these carbon steel woks. However, they're not terribly convenient for a flat top stove like this one, and they take a bit of seasoning. Therefore I'll be using this thick bottomed fry pan. They're just as good as the conventional woks, and they do the same thing, and they're more suitable to a typical kitchen stove. The key is that the thick bottom will hold the heat. The trick is to turn the flame up as high as it'll go. I'll mention something about oil. What we want for this recipe and all stir fries is an oil that has high temperature properties and which is pretty tasteless. And the typical things used in Asian cooking are canola oil or peanut or sunflower oil. What you don't want is olive oil, because it's not very good at high temperatures and it has a strong taste. Next I'll talk about eggs, 2 for this recipe. You can do what you like, but since free-range chicken meat is superior nutritionally, I think the eggs would be from free-range chickens as well, so I always use them. Next we want spring onions, about 2 tablespoons. Next we have bok choy, one handful of that, or about 1 whole plant chopped up. Then we have bean sprouts, another handful, salt, Chinese 5-spice, dried chilli flakes, and some cold rice. And if, like most Western people, you don't have rice left over from last night, it's perfectly okay just to make some fresh. You can see immediately here why we want hot oil, because the eggs bubble up, giving them a light texture and a crispy taste in the Chinese style. With a lot of stir-fry recipes, you want the vegetables to be a bit al dente, but given that these vegetables are already soft, they're going to go soft and they just really wilt. So the process of cooking is really just throwing everything in and mixing up the flavors. It's quite easy. If you were using a proper wok or a non-stick fry pan, obviously you wouldn't have that sticking on the bottom like we see there, but it's not a big problem. Just keep stirring. Once we get to the rice, you just simply throw it in and mix it up until the white colour all goes away. When it's all a cooked colour, it's ready to eat. Of course you can measure the soy sauce there if you want to. Quite often when you see Western people making Chinese dishes on YouTube, the results are really not exactly authentic, but I can confirm that this one tastes exactly like it's supposed to.